The Bush administration tonight is pushing, rather publicly now, its Security and Prosperity Partnership, a plan to, quote-unquote, integrate the economies of the United States, Mexico, and Canada by the year 2010. You're thinking, you didn't vote for that. Your congressman didn't vote for that. Your senator didn't vote for that. You're correct. It is a very ambitious plan for three very different economies and nations. It's moving forward without congressional oversight, in many cases congressional knowledge, and certainly not the approval of the American people, nor, for that matter, the Canadian people, nor the Mexican people. Christine Romans has our report.
In Mexico City, from the Bush administration, a rare acknowledgement of concerns about its Security and Prosperity Partnership.
We have three different countries. They are three different sovereign nations. They have their own laws, their own culture, their own history, their own governments. And within that framework, we can build a stronger Western Hemisphere without tampering with local national sovereignty.
The Commerce Secretary denies an outright plan for a single currency or a European-style American Union. Instead, the goal is, quote, harmonizing hundreds of rules and regulations from healthcare to trucking to energy to cut red tape and make companies more competitive within the three nations. But critics see stealthy changes taking place deep within government bureaucracies with input from business and academia, but away from lawmakers and voters.
All this is about is open borders. Open borders between Mexico and America, America and Canada. Open borders without any controls, and there's no telling what could happen to this country that would be detrimental to the future of America.
But Gutierrez says security comes first.
The priority must be to keep those out who want to do harm, but to ensure that we can continue the flow of more goods and the flow of job creation across our borders.
Numerous SPP documents reveal a goal of moving people and goods more easily among the three countries.
According to SPP documents released through Freedom of Information requests, architects of the SPP are aware that they've got a little bit of an image problem. Congressman Jones says he thinks that there's an image problem for a reason. He's written to the White House now twice about detailed questions about the SPP. He says he's been ignored on this.
Well, this White House is ignoring and has ignored Congress in nearly every instance in which it doesn't get a rubber stamp. The idea that Carlos Gutierrez, the Commerce Secretary, is talking about this in Mexico City and not addressing it publicly before Congress, the fact that all of these things are happening behind closed doors. I mean, why is there not some greater sense of what's going on the part of this government?
Congressman Jones points out that there's a website at the Commerce Department. He says he doesn't want a website. He wants to sit down and find out what this is all about. Trade, these things belong in the arena of Congress, and he'd like to see some oversight there.
Yeah, I have to say that what we're watching here and what you've reported and all of our colleagues have been reporting on with the so-called North American Union and in a few other quarters, the American people have every reason to be very concerned. The suggestion that these corporate and business elites, and now we can include some of the luminaries of geopolitics, George Shultz and others, meeting on these issues behind closed doors without the approval or the knowledge of the American public is ridiculous. And we're going to continue to focus on it and get to the bottom of it. Thank you very much, Christine Romans. We invited, by the way, Commerce Secretary Gutierrez to join us this evening. He wasn't available to join us tonight. We sincerely hope that the Commerce Secretary will find it convenient to join us here, because I would really like to know, and I'm sure that you would as well, just what in the world the Bush administration thinks it's doing carrying out this kind of policy without the approval of the American people or the United States Congress. There is still that little thing called a Constitution that does affect all of these movements on the part of this government toward a security and prosperity partnership. That brings us to the subject of our poll. Do you think the American people should have a say, perhaps a national referendum, before the United States continues to pursue so-called integration meetings with Canada and Mexico? Yes or no? We'd love to know what you think. Cast your vote at LouDobbs.com. We'll have the results upcoming. Time now for some of your thoughts. Richard in Illinois said, Lou, I can't believe that not one Democrat has signed the petition to give the 2 Border Patrol agents a full pardon. I hope the American public can see the writing on the wall that these Democrats have an agenda that supports illegals, and they will do anything to get the Hispanic vote in 2008. And Jack in Utah, $2.5 million to close off the tunnels between the United States and Mexico? I didn't know a couple of sticks of dynamite cost that much. And Ken in Tennessee, $2.5 million to fill in a tunnel? How about $50 worth of explosives to collapse it? Can anyone in this government think at all? You better think about that before you decide you want that answer. And Carol in Ohio, thanks for the link on your website that tells us how senators vote on key issues. I've been keeping a very watchful eye on this and find it to be a very useful tool for determining how I vote in 2008. And we will continue to even expand those tools for you on the website. Send us your thoughts at LouDobbs.com. More of them coming up here later in the broadcast. Each of you whose email is read here receives a copy of my book, War on the Middle